All right, everybody, we've done a lot of talking about how to write ads that get leads, but today we're talking about writing ads that get clients. Let's write some ads. All right, let's jump right into it. Where do we want my picture to be? Left, right, left. I don't know. We'll go there for now. Maybe we'll switch it up a little bit, keep it interesting. All right, write ads that get clients. You guys, this is something that we've been hearing a lot about, something that you guys, we do the Watch Me Builds on Fridays where you guys can watch us research and build ads that generate leads. You know, that's awesome. But you want actual clients. You want to know how to run ads and create emails that people respond to and pay you some money for. So let's jump into what makes the whole thing work. All right, the truth is writing ads that get clients is a lot easier when you know a couple of things. So first, we're going to jump into the thing that I see people do like wrong all the time. So here's how to make writing ads really hard. And I'm guessing you're going to shake your head and be like, oh man, I've done some of those things. Number one, you speak to a general group of people, meaning I'm talking to all doctors. I'm talking to all contractors. I'm talking to all fill in the blank. I'm talking to all real estate agents. You think that's a small niche? That is a general group of people, my friends. Okay. You pitch all of your cool features. We can do GMB chat. We can do Facebook ads. We can do inbox. We can do automation. There's all the things that we can do. Talk about all of them. Make sure that they're as confused as possible. Great idea. Okay. Tell people how cool your stuff is. Don't talk about them. Talk about you, how cool you are. Okay. Tell them how many things your thing can do. We can do anything. When you can do anything, you can't do anything. That's what they think. Okay. And then leave nothing to the imagination. Fill in all the blanks so they have they know exactly what it is that you do. Leave nothing to the imagination because creativity isn't part of advertising. Oh, and of course, make really big promises and claims. That always works out. All right. It's kind of like, honestly, I think this is like Ursula and Drizella. I have no idea if that's their names, but it reminds me of Cinderella's sisters. It reminds me of the, selfish, let's talk about me, all that kind of approach. And by the way, most of us, including myself, are pre-wired to be egocentric, to talk about us. It's hard to talk about other people, but it is required if you want to get customers. Writing ads is easy when you're interested in the thoughts of one person, of one very unique avatar, okay? You try to understand their struggles, okay? You're asking questions to see how many, which ones you can help, which ones you may not be able to help with. You're trying to understand them. Again, you get very specific on the areas that you can help with, and then you share unique opportunities for them to change. Unique. That's an important word. We're going to touch on that one a bunch today. All right. So, and then also the last one, instead of having these big promises and all these, all this hype, just provide them some kind of proof. We'll talk about that. It's kind of like having Cinderella as a copywriter. Now, I know you might think, Sam, this is kind of weird. Like, honestly, what is this all about? Listen, before you can write words that will persuade clients to be interested in you and to pay you what you want them to pay, not to cheapen your services, you have to personify the nature of persuasion. This is one of my favorite stories ever. And if you've seen, I've talked about this on the channel before. I have other videos. I have one video maybe that's dedicated to this. But if you've never heard this, I want to tell you this one quick story. Okay. This is Captain John Raid. And John Raid was a fishing captain back, obviously, a very long time ago. And he was known in his area for being the most skilled fisherman of all their fishermen. What's crazy is he's actually from an area in the Northeast where some of the most renowned captains were from. I think the movie Jaws, the captain of that movie, the captain that was renowned for shark catching and all that kind of stuff, he was also from this area. And if you asked any of them who was the number one fishing captain of them all, they would all say Captain John Raid. And it wasn't just because he was the best. It was also because how he did it. He would go out with hook and reel, not nets, not these big drag lines. He did it with hook and reel. And when he retired, okay, when it was time to reveal the secrets, he had a reporter ask him, John, why are you so successful where other fishermen have nowhere near the success and you have all the disadvantages? And he said, when fishermen go out to fish, they think like fishermen. When I go out to fish, I think like a fish. Just sit on that one for just a minute. All right. Here's the point. All right. Your job, your number one job, before we start writing ads and looking at formulas and all that kind of stuff, your number one job is to write copy that makes your prospect feel understood. Okay? Sit with those thoughts, sit with those ideas. What does it mean to understand someone? Don't rush to think that you think you know better than them, that you think you understand until you actually do. All right? So let's jump into it. Today, here's what we're going to switch this up. Put me down here. That's more fun. Here's what we're going to cover. The anatomy of an ad. Okay? Now that you have the mindset, I want you to, once again, we've done this before, but I want you to see how the human brain engages with an ad. That's important if you want to go with that flow. Number 2, the 4 Ps of persuasion. If we're going to persuade people, the right people, we need to know those. And then number 3 is an easy ad template they can use and start using over and over. All right, so again, I did this before. We won't spend a ton of time on this, but it is really important. And as you scroll through your own Facebook feed, I would challenge you to do this. As you're going through Facebook or Instagram or whatever, just see if, once you've looked at an ad or something, a picture, whatever it is, see if your eye behaves the same way that I'm going to show you. The first thing that your eye engages with is the creative, okay? It's the image, it's the video, okay? The second thing is the headline, okay? Your eyes are going to drift down generally, down and look at the next words down the page, and generally that's the headline. Then they're going to go up to the very first line, and then if you've done a good job, okay, 1, 2, 3, you'll hit expand and they'll read the rest of the copy. Okay, that is what the anatomy of an ad is in most cases. Okay, you'll see that. In fact, I've even seen ads where it says, first you're going to look here, then you're going to look here, then you're going to look here. And it's very telling because it's true. You're like, oh, well, that's pretty interesting. All right. Now, why should I care about this? Why should you care about this? The same way you don't jump around in a conversation. All right. And you've been in conversations like that where they're very sporadic, they're very disjointed. They're not very good. You don't learn or gain anything from them. The same way you don't jump around in a conversation. The goal of the ad should be to establish a clear pathway, a clear message from first thing they see until the last thing they see. Okay. We can use the flow, what we know about this flow, to position our message in the proper order. And the other thing that we don't want to do is when we're looking at our ad, we don't want to try and jam too much into the headline. We don't want to try and jam too much into the first sentence. Okay. We want to jam we want to put or place, not jam, the right thing in the right place. So they will then go from the headline to the first, through the first line of copy, we call it the lead, and then so on through the body copy. All right, let's keep going. The 4 Ps of persuasion. Now, I did not create these. These are from a marketing mentor, my favorite marketing mentor of all time, Gary Bencivenga. And he came up with the 4 Ps, and they're really, he basically said with these 4 Ps, you can make any sales page, any funnel, any ad, anything you want. All right, let's jump into it. So number 1 is a unique problem. All right, that's the first thing, a unique problem or set of problems. All right, number 2, a unique promise. All right, number 3, unique proof. And then number 4, a unique proposition. The proposition, a lot of people will call that the offer. Okay, you're noticing something about this framework, and I'm guessing it's the word unique. Okay, unique is very, very, very important. And I'm going to tell you why with a quick recap from a story I shared in a previous video last week. Okay. And I'm going to tell you this story because the way I first felt like I was a ninja at sales. First, I felt like I sucked at sales, and then I felt like I was a ninja. And it was all because I fell backwards into a situation, all right, where I had to make sales under the gun. I was promised all these leads, and, I wasn't getting them. And so story goes, I was a loan officer back in the day. I was, again, supposed to be getting all these leads, and they weren't coming. my branch manager said, you know, just go to the broker's offices and the real estate agents' offices and see if you can take them out to lunch and all that kind of stuff. And that was what people would do traditionally. I didn't feel great about that. I didn't have any money. And so one day I went to a real estate agent office to take her up on her advice and see what I could do. And I was sitting in the lobby and I saw these magazines. Now, the magazines in Idaho, they're called Homes and Land. And they're all the listings that these different agents have. And I'm flipping through. And then I'm thinking as I'm going through, I'm like, well, this person is listing these $1 million homes. It would be nice if they would send me those deals. I'd make a ton of money, but they're never going to send me these deals. I'm new, I'm young. There's no way. Same thing with the next person. Those house prices, they'll never send them to me. And on and on and on until I came to one person, and her name was Christine McNeil. And on her page, on the listings that she had a bunch of first-time home buyers, okay? They all spoke Spanish. She was a bilingual real estate agent, and a lot of her clients and her listings were all in Spanish. And so I derived from that. I'm like, well, she probably works with a lot of Hispanic home buyers. And I happen to speak Spanish. And so what's crazy about that is I reached out to her and I fell backwards into the exact formula and the methods that you're going to see here, that you're seeing previously already, and that you're going to see here that made it so my pitch was easy, selling was easy, and marketing, therefore, ever since has been easy just because of this one experience. Okay. So I called her up and I said, hey, Christina, I see that you work a lot with first-time home buyers who speak Spanish. I'm guessing that on top of having to translate for them, you're also having several who are not getting qualified for the regular mortgage programs. And then I said, I specialize in these loans and I speak Spanish. If you have anyone who needs help, I can talk to them today. Okay. Let's go through this. What was the first thing I did? The first thing I did was I focused on her unique problem, okay? She would have to translate for people. They were harder to get approved, and the type of program she was wanting to get them approved for, most loan originators don't want to do. So I tapped right into the problem right out of the gate, and it was very unique, all right? And then I said, I specialize in these loans. That's a promise. That's a very unique promise. Most people at that time did not specialize in first-time homebuyer loans, and specifically, the next line is I speak Spanish. I mean, that was like an added benefit. Honestly, the speak Spanish, you could say, was part of the promise as well as the proof. I think the proof in this case was more of a combination of the two, where it was like, hey, you show me that you're a specialist in this thing and you can remove you're able to speak Spanish. I believe if you're able to speak Spanish, I believe that you do what you say you're going to do. Okay. And then we go to the last one. If you have anyone who needs help, I can talk to them today. That was an offer. That was my proposition. I will talk to them today, not next week, not get them on my schedule, get them on the call with me today. Five deals that day. And I never worried about sales ever again. Okay. This is the power of being specific and being unique. You've seen until now, we've gotten into the mindset of selling, of writing ads. These are, by the way, selling, writing ads. It's the same mindset. You've also heard me talk about this story, about being very specific, about thinking like a fish. Okay. If you can hone in on focusing on those things and not getting so pie in the sky and trying to sell to everyone, even though I'm sure, maybe you could. If you can avoid that, you can reduce and remove a lot of the tricky stuff, a lot of the trickery and magic work around ad copy. All right, let's jump back into it. All righty, so an easy ad template, hook, story, offer. All right, now the first part, the hook is the thing that is going to get your customer, your end user, to stop and be interested in what you're doing. Now, interested, that's a very interesting word. All right. So hook, show a unique benefit and curiosity. How do you create curiosity? How do you create the need for somebody to find out more about what it is that you're doing? B plus C equals I. Never forget this. Benefit, okay, a unique benefit, plus curiosity equals interest. All right. Now, an example of curiosity. How can you say curiosity? The word without is a really good one, meaning get $1 billion tomorrow without all the work. Okay, so that's a terrible example, but you're understanding, get a benefit, get a thing that they want without something, and that's interesting. Okay, that creates interest. Or, and I'll show you a couple examples in here how we do B plus C equals I, or give me 30 minutes and I'll work a sales miracle in your agency. That was a video I did before. Give me 30 minutes, okay, what's happening in that 30 minutes, and I'll work a sales miracle. That's interesting, okay? There we go. Hook, story. Demonstrate you understand prospects by telling them a familiar negative story and then a believable positive story to replace it, meaning they all have a story or an objection in their head. The only way that you can remove that is by replacing it with a better story. Offer. Capitalize on their new belief by making them an offer that draws them closer to their desired outcome. All right, we're going to just, I think it's better to see examples of this stuff, but hook, story, offer, you know, pretty awesome. Now this one, I really like this one. It was funny because when I interviewed Forrest, the first thing I told him I noticed about his ad was how it followed the hook, story, offer framework. I loved it. I thought it was so good. And he didn't even know that he'd done it. It's such a natural way to write an ad that, you know, sometimes it just happens. So let's go ahead and go through it. The first thing that they see is the image. Now this is, you know, a demonstration. Demonstration is the greatest form of proof. We've talked about proof a little bit. That was point number 3 in the 4 Ps. Unique proof, so demonstrating something is pretty interesting. So in this image, and he had a video as well, he would show what the platform was. People had never seen it before. So boom, you got curiosity right there. So number 1 was the video. The second thing is, and by the way, you'll find a lot of times that the creative pairs up perfectly with the headline and the first line. Okay. If you can make those 3 things dance together, that's perfect. All right, so here's a B plus C equals I right here. Launch your own ads in 45 seconds without logging into Facebook Ads Manager. There's that word without, okay? Well, first of all, what are we talking about here? We're promising them, we're giving them a benefit of launching their own ads in 45 seconds. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's an amazing promise without logging into Facebook Ads Manager. All of a sudden we're thinking, wait a minute, how can we do it without Ads Manager? That's where you launch ads from. That makes no sense. Okay, well now we need to explain, and we explain through a story. And by the way, we're talking about the bad story and the good story. Okay, I won't be providing a course on how to launch your own Facebook ad and Instagram ads anymore. It's way too much work for people, and I don't think it'll help provide immediate value and results. What I like about that, first of all, that's kind of like a negative story. What I like about that is that he implies that the next thing he's going to talk about will give them immediate value and immediate results. Nice trick. I don't even know if he knew he was doing it. Okay. And then the offer is life insurance agents will now be able to launch Facebook ads and Instagram ads right inside our CRM. Select 1 of 10 and growing templates, set your daily budget and launch. How cool is that? I mean, that right there is a perfectly written ad, which he didn't even know he was writing, but this was one of the ads that was responsible for him getting 35 paid customers during his 2-week UpHex trial. Okay. So this is an awesome framework. Number 2. So I basically took a similar framework and I'm like, okay, well, what if I were to write an ad kind of from scratch? What would I do for this example? What would I write? Let's go through what I came up with. So number 1, if I was going after doctors who do knee treatments, okay, I would first go after a video like this. And then my headline would be, use this video, get knee patients. And by the way, I say patients, not leads in parentheses. Okay. Here's my unique hook. If you offer any type of non-surgical knee services, we've cracked the code. Okay. After a few creative edits, okay, that means that this is not a normal thing. Again, that's the whole, I'm implying that this is not just a plain Jane video. This video ad is bringing in more knee cases than I've ever seen. More even than when stem cell injections were brand new. Now this is me knowing my audience, understanding that when stem cell injections first came out, they were like wildfire. So that's something that's nuanced to that particular niche, that small group of people. And because I know that, this is like dog whistle copy, right? This is really going to speak to those people. So that's a very compelling line just by itself. In fact, for this one, we don't even talk about lead costs. No. Our average cost per appointment show is less than $60. And the best part, here's the offer. You never pay retainer fees, pay per lead, pay per appointment. Click below and learn more. If you're not paying, by the way, my offer also has an element of curiosity. If you're not paying retainer fees, you're not paying pay per lead, you're not paying per appointment, what do you pay? How does it work? Well, click and you'll find out more. Okay. That's how it is supposed to work. All right. Your ads are not supposed to do everything. They're supposed to get you to click to the next thing. All right. So that is an ad that likely we will use. And by the way, this is something that I could use equally as well in an email, and I have. Okay. So just so you understand, hook, story, offer, boom, right there. Here's another example. Now, this is Adam Lucky, and I did another video with him, which I'll link in the description below. And you can hear about how he used a single video ad, okay, where he was on the green screen and he was demonstration rules. Show beats tell, okay? And so all he had to do was get on a green screen and walk people through, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm getting ads. Oh, and by the way, it's cheaper than what you're doing right now. These are not retainer fees. You can get all access. You have unlimited ads. He's saying all of the benefits that they can get from this and showing them at the same time, which is a very engaging approach. All right. So, video, the worst thing you can do is talk to the camera, just like this. Okay. Now he is talking to the camera, but he's not really, because you can tell he's looking at the screen. And so people are looking at the screen, not thinking, oh, he's talking right at us. He's demonstrating to us what is on the screen. That's the difference. But if you try and do an A-roll video where you're like, hello, you want to buy our marketing because we're so great and we can help you get results. And this is me talking to the camera and it's super awkward and people don't want to hear you talk. Show beats tell every time. All right, let's get on with it. Now, the hardest part, honestly, the hardest part about writing copy, the very hardest part is the first, just getting started, just the first sentence. So I've got a couple of one-liners that you can use. You don't have to use these, but you can. They help me get started, even with a first draft. If you want to just throw something out there, it's a good framework to have. Okay, number one, and I got this from my buddy Lawton Childs. All right, if there was a way to get the thing that they want and do it without, thing that they hate, would you want to know about it? A question. That's a great way to approach it. Okay. Give me 20 minutes and I can deliver a blank miracle. We talked about this earlier. I did this on a recent thumbnail. Worked very well. If you want the thing that they want and you're also tired of the thing that they're tired of, then watch this video. Then click below. Then whatever you want them to do. Want to see how blank their avatar earn an additional blank per week? Question mark. Yes, I would like to see that. Thank you very much. Simple, easy. All right. Now here's a quick summary. Number one, we talked about this. Focus on a very unique person. Just be focused on one person. Don't try to sell to too many people. Number two, think like a fish. Okay. Think about everything that they encounter, the situations, the complaints, every complaint that they have about the services that they've gotten that are similar to the ones that you offer, that they've gotten from others. Those are your ingredients. Those are your ammo. Shine a light on those things and tell them why you're different. Okay. Be unique, of course. Your ad should flow, the order of how the ad flows. Your image and your video are a really big deal. Okay. So you don't want to just go out of the gate with something that really doesn't mean anything. You can use humor if you want to. That works really good sometimes. But most of the time it's just demonstrating. That's just honestly, I keep going back to it, but it's just the easiest thing to do. A lot of times just demonstrating what it is that you're doing or showing them an ad that you use that gets amazing results. Just show them the ad. Who cares if somebody takes it? Who cares? Okay. They're not taking your business. All right. Your image, your video is a big deal. Show always beats tell. All right. So here's the deal. I know that in this video, we've kind of gone fast. I tend to talk fast sometimes. You can go back to each one of these sections. You go back and watch some of the videos I've talked about in terms of selling, because writing ads, really all we're doing is we're selling, but we're doing it in print. Okay. So anyway, hopefully this video has been helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to join me and my partner Jacob on a Friday Watch Me Build. If you haven't registered for those, just go in the link below. We have a Facebook group, hop in that group, and you can register and join us live and ask any questions you want. You can even throw your ad copy into the meeting, and we'll give you some critiques on it and show you how we would do it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.